It's only right that you should play the way you feel it, but listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness. Like a heartbeat drives you mad in the stillness of remembering what you had, what you lost, and what you had, what you lost.
Good morning, my fellow explorers and treasure hunters. Today I'd like to talk about something that it's been covered before, but I don't think anybody's done a very good job of examining all the information or the details. Also, I have information that other people or interests may not have access to. And some of this information has come to us from sources outside of the cited sources from the internet. We have 3 sources outside of anything you're going to find on the internet that tells us that there's something of value, a cavern, a treasure cave, a society, or something inside or around the Grand Canyon area. Anyway, I want to examine some of that information today, go into a little bit more detail, and actually take apart the document, the newspaper article that G.E. Kincaid, that was a result of supposed G.E. Kincaid's expedition through the Grand Canyon. So first of all, G.E. Kincaid, I believe it was in 1907, was the time of his expedition, 1907, 1908. I think the article that came out in the Phoenix Gazette came out in 1909, if my memory serves me. In a minute I'm going to log on to the internet and read a few things directly off of that article, and also go over Google Earth and trace out some of his measurements and some of the elevation markers and pinpoint precisely on the Grand Canyon, on the Colorado River, where he would have been, what location he would have been when he saw the brown stain on the wall and subsequently hiked up and found the cave. Anyway, G.E. Kincaid was supposedly on a exploratory expedition. I think he was looking at mining prospects. That's one of the things that he mentions in the article, was he was looking for mining prospects. It's mentioned that he had some affiliation with the Smithsonian, and later a Professor Jordan, I think it was A.H. Jordan, came into the picture on the subsequent visit to the cave or cavern. At one time, Lava Falls, which is right across from Vulcan's Throne. If you've been out onto the north rim of the Colorado to Toro Weep, if you spend any time out there, you know what Vulcan's Throne is. That's a recent lava flow that occurred around 1,000 to 1,200 years ago, and geologists tell us that that flow went down and blocked off the Colorado River and actually raised the level of the river in that, behind that lava dam, for 600 feet or more. And if that backed up the water behind a lava dam more than 600 feet, then it would back water up all the way to near Marble Canyon. And so it is entirely possible that if that water was there, if that was dammed up, then that elevation, it was possible that they could have floated a boat in there and then walked up the series of steps talked about by Kincaid in his information that he gave to the Gazette, or the Gazette author. It is, so that makes it possible that during that period of time, about 1,000 to 1,200 years ago, at least in the time from the time that dam was formed until it was washed away or eroded away, there could have been 500, 600, 700 years where that elevation could have been accessed by boat. I'm not a proponent of the millions and millions of years that it took to form the Grand Canyon. I think the Grand Canyon was formed with a series of very catastrophic events. Huge bodies of water being flushed down the Grand Canyon. It just makes sense to me that a giant body of water suddenly rushing down the canyon would create this canyon 7 miles wide and 2 miles deep. Whereas if it was millions of years eroding straight down, it seems like you would have a canyon that was more like this, 2,000 to 4,000 feet straight down with a very narrow cut, not a 7 mile average width from rim to rim. It seems to me like there had to be a tremendous amount of water going down from rim to rim to erode that much of it away and create the Grand Canyon the way it is today. Anyway, I'm going to get on the internet here and pull up Google Earth and lay out the distances from that Kincaid talks about and the elevations. I'm going to show you some caves that you may not have seen before, and most of these I don't know of anybody that has been into them. And so it is entirely possible that there is a cave in the Grand Canyon that holds treasure, where an ancient civilization lived for a period of time. We know that many of the cultures, the Native American cultures, talk about an emergence. It talks about a time when they were living underground and then they emerged and came out from the ground. And so many of these areas, these areas from many of these cultures center on the Grand Canyon.